Hello, welcome traders, welcome back to the recap video. So today was a really sloppy start for me. So pre-market, I was down about 200 bucks, but then we ended the day about $400 profit. I really learned a little bit pre-market watching the tickers that I was having a hard time trading and predicting these stocks. So, and they were almost all the lead gappers were selling off 30, 40, 50% pre-market. Huge red flags all across the board. And what I wanted to say is I knew that the market was selling off a lot. The overall market was down a lot. Small caps are selling off or they're not holding the highs well. Let's be very careful. What I did know though, that every time a small cap does sell off this much pre-market, and it is one of the lead gappers and it does have a good catalyst, sometimes it does have a nice move out of the gates. So that's why on HUGE, I actually went with some of my biggest position size, got really aggressive around $5 and then had a nice little rip to the upside. Unfortunately, I took my profits way too quickly, but looking back at it, when we talk about it in the charts a little bit, I say kind of why I took profits a little bit. One, I'm already down a lot on the day. Two, I clearly am not in my groove. I'm missing a lot of moves. And then three, finally I'm back green on the day. And you don't know how long this is going to last. And actually HUGE kept on pulling back after this trade. So it was really good. I took my profits. I definitely left a little bit of profits on the table. But sometimes you just got to crawl out of the hole first, take those base hits. And then that's what I did. The next move on double bottom with HUGE, we'll talk about in a little bit. That's when I let it ride a little bit longer because now I had a cushion on the day and I could kind of take a deep breath. So I love watching pre-markets. Sometimes I make mistakes pre-market. Sometimes I slay pre-market. But what I like the most about pre-market is just I get the feeling for what I'm going to probably expect that day. So that's why I'm going to probably keep trading pre-market no matter what, because I just like looking at the tickers. And if you just look at the tickers and you don't trade and then you miss a move that you kind of like, then you start getting FOMO, and that's horrible on its own. So I would like to trade it, even if I trade small size, which I do pre-market, but I do want to just, be active in it. I think, today was kind of a weird day. KNDI is going to be an interesting one to review. I think I want to focus a little bit on, is this one going to be a possible trade for tomorrow? I think there might be possibility in buying this one if it holds certain support levels we're going to talk about in a little bit, and then selling it actually pre-market. I don't think I would hold it past that. A lot of tickers to review today, guys. It was a busy day, some really good lessons though. So let's go to the charts now. And remember, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to leave a like, guys. I really appreciate it. If you're totally new here, consider subscribing. We go live every morning at 9:15 a.m. to review the watch list and then trade the market open. Let's go to the charts now.
Ooh-wee. After trade today, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to sit down on the couch for a little bit and just close my eyes. And literally like 15 minutes went by. I was so ready to just chill for a little bit. So, okay, here we are back at it. Today was a roller coaster of a day. We had quite the few amount of trades. I think we almost did 20 trades today, roughly. Two tickers were really the ones that paid the bills today, and HUGE and CBAT. HUGE could have had one more beautiful trade on it, but I missed it. Let's go back down here. We had so many trades, so many scratches today. I was all over the place. I traded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tickers today. This is actually a green trade right here. We made about 30 bucks on it, but since we bought it right before the market closed yesterday, it used yesterday's market high closing number. So we're actually down on this trade, but we're actually up on this trade. So it's a bit weird, kind of like yesterday. And let's dive into it. SBPH. Wow, that was really sloppy. SBPH. Ooh. Whoa, what did I just click on? Let's try that one more time. SBPH. Okay, this time it did it. Guys, like I was not doing well this morning. So SBPH was one of our lead gappers. 16 million float, US biotech, had a partnership deal with another biotech. Their mission was to create the next generation immune therapy, probably for something like coronavirus and the SARS and all those kind of typical respiratory diseases. But this thing out of the gates, pulled back here 45%, and then before the market opened, pulled back, let's see here, about, again, 49%. So those big sell-offs are always big red flags for me, and I say that over and over again. But before we had a big sell-off, I didn't know if this thing was going to sell off. I actually bought a nice pullback here. I totally did this horrible, though. I had a nice limit. My first entry was pretty okay. here at like 70s. It pulled a little bit lower. I didn't get my fill, and then I actually bought on the way back up at 91. And then instantly I was red on this one, and then I finally got like a little close on here and was able to walk away barely green on this one, which is ridiculous because my first entry, which was only like, I don't know, 30% of my ideal position size, I was up at one point like 10% on it. So I dropped the ball really, really hard on this first little dip buy. It was just really, really annoying the way I traded this one. And then, again, I tried a dip trade here. It didn't really work. Got out, I think for a small loss even, or a small win. I don't know. Again, tried it here in this area, small loss, small win. I'm not even sure, just many small losses. Finally had a little bounce here, but I closed here at 64 right before the, 7-8% move to the upside. Tried it again, closed right before the rally. I was just constantly, right idea, but the wrong timing. And I constantly was cutting my losses. So before the market opened on SBPH, I was down $106 on this one ticker, which was really stressful, really, really stressful. Because I was up like 2% here, and then I was down, closed for a loss. Up 2% again, I closed for a loss. And each time I was trying to take profits like 2.5%. I wasn't even looking for home run trades, but I was looking for base hits that were at least, over 1%. Like, come on, like we're trading small caps. I'm not trading large caps here. Like, at least give me over 1%. So it was annoying. I was constantly on the wrong side of SBPH, and I knew that before the market opened, I was like, I'm not going to look at SBPH anymore because it's pulling back so much. And look at this. The rest of the day, it just kept on selling off. So this is why when a stock sells off so much pre-market, I won't be looking at it into the market open typically. So I would say HUGE was a little bit of an exception to that because it was, again, a very strong lead gapper, and we'll talk about that one in a second. KNDI, very quickly here, another big lead gapper that we were trading today. But I dropped the ball on KNDI pretty hard, and then I didn't want to trade it anymore, so I only did one trade on it. 38 million float, Chinese auto manufacturer with electric vehicle launch plans. Kind of like, okay, riding the trend a little bit here. A little bit late to the game, but I guess for electric vehicles, better late than never. But this thing really was a yesterday runner, and then pre-market did a lot of work as well. So this thing's up tremendously. Second big green day. I knew I would want to be careful trading this one, and I thought maybe there's going to be an opportunity to maybe trade a little dip in this area, a little bit of a bounce here. I should have been more conscious of the fact that we had the bounce already and I missed it. I tried to trade the second bounce here, entered at 15.6, but I was like, I'm just going to have an alert order here just to get alerted. I got the entry on it, small position size, kept on selling off, and I was like, I don't know what this thing's up to. Like, this thing's just selling off so much. I'm just going to close this one, and good thing I did because it kept on pulling back. So I don't know. This thing was just all over the place, and I was not feeling it. Oh, let me just wait till that ambulance is gone for a second. I'll take a quick sip. Sorry for the slurp. So out of the gates, KNDI pretty much pulls back. Nothing that I didn't really expect on KNDI. 36% though is really, really vicious. We had one really big bounce here at about 12.50. I missed this one, but I should have snagged this 11.21 because this one was on my multi-month support and resistance kind of watch zone. Here at 11, this was 11% bounce. This could have been really, really good. Had a second retest here, then pulled back again. Sell volume was kind of fading a little bit, pulled back higher. This could have been maybe an interesting time to trade it. And then on the live stream, we're actually talking about trading this one again in this area. So again, KNDI, I could have probably traded it right here, but I need to chill at some points. I can't be looking at the charts all day. So this was a pretty obvious missed move here on my end. Could have even traded it twice. So pretty sweet there at 11.1. So yeah, probably could have wrapped up the day over $500 pretty easily with that alone. But yeah, KNDI, I don't know, just kind of sold off a lot. Will I trade KNDI tomorrow? Will it be a potential trade tomorrow? I don't know. I really don't like these second green days. Sometimes they have the third, fourth, fifth green day, but you just got to be really cautious because when they fall hard because there's usually an offering or something like that. Now, $10 is a pretty big whole number, support and resistance. So I think by the end of the day, we might see this thing pull back to like $10 or so, maybe even to $8. I don't really expect it to really hold these highs that well. I could be wrong, but let's see what happens. It's really hard to call out these moves before they actually it gets later in the day. So if I would want to hold KNDI overnight, I would want to see how this thing closes. I would want to see some clear support being held. And it's hard to say I would want to hold this overnight before I could, reassess the whole trading day and be like, okay, look, support held. So if, I don't know, $10 holds, then I think that's going to be a very bullish sign. If it doesn't, I'm not sure if I'm going to be trading it, but yeah, so if $10 holds, then maybe buying around some support and then selling into a pre-market spike would be a pretty interesting way to trade KNDI. Actually, just thinking about it, PRPO, this one, PRPO, I know a lot of you guys are trading PRPO today and you've been in this hold for so long. This thing has been halted now since 10 o'clock and now it's about 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's crazy how long this thing has been halted for, basically 2 hours. Usually don't see halts this long. I think the longest halt I've ever seen was 3 hours long. I forgot which ticker that was, but usually if it's like really big news coming out, good or bad. So let's see what happens with PRPO. ADMA, this was a bit of a weird trade. Let's talk about it quickly here. There's nothing like ADMA, nothing too groundbreaking with it. See, this is why I wrap up trading, because you can already tell that like I'm not clicking buttons right. I'm just all over the place. ADMA was my last 2 trades on the day, and I honestly should have never even traded this one. My first trade here was I was looking for a reversal back to VWAP maybe. Didn't get that. I closed here for a small loss. I got too early of an entry on this one. Second trade also was pretty okay, but didn't get that, pull back to the 9-minute EMA, closed this one for a small loss. Both were like 1% losses. Totally fine, totally okay. Both times I was hoping for at least a bigger move, not like a 4% move, but at least, 2% again. This one would have worked. I should have averaged down actually at 54 instead of closing it. And I could have probably, at least had one profitable trade. But again, look, I could have gotten faked out here. I could have, I don't know. Maybe I would have not taken my profits here properly. Who knows? This was really playing with fire, and ADMA was really something I probably just should have not traded. Coronavirus news, emergency use from FDA. So kind of like a, I can't even think of the word, like fast track. There's another word for it, but I can't think of it. So it is good news, but really not holding its highs well. So that's a big red flag for ADMA. And I don't know, maybe I would consider buying a dip here at 3.3 or maybe tomorrow at like $3. Could see some good support, but it looks like a lot of these former spikes have not held on ADMA, so I would be probably a little bit cautious how I would overall trade this one. What else we got here? I mean, just today was such a wicked, weird day. I was pretty happy when Mateo was over. Honestly, after I think my last HUGE trade, which was at 10 o'clock, I knew almost for a fact that I was done with trading. I was just well, at this point, I could only give back profits. That's what I felt, and that's what happened with ADMA. So I could have had an extra $40 if I just wrapped it up. AIHS, let's see here, AIHS. This was a ticker that was a former runner, and I just bought some big support on it. We kind of pulled back here, and I bought the dip here near 63. Pre-market, it was actually a pretty sweet entry. This is what we bought yesterday. Then it ran up yesterday, and then it pulled back, right? So yesterday, I artificially was up like $60-70 for a second. And then technically today I opened up minus, right? So that's why it says I lost $37 on the day on it. But in actuality, I made like $30 on this trade. Small trade. Now it's finally crawling higher. This is where I had my limit order to sell originally here at 68. So, I don't know. What do you like? Ridiculous. I'm just happy it wasn't a loss. I mean, I'm not complaining. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but it's just one of those trades that kind of drives you a little bit insane. What I should have done on this one, and I would have probably done if I got a full fill. So I was only trading about 1,000 shares on this one, 970. I had 1,600 shares I was trying to buy here. It wasn't a full execution, and then it bounced up 11%. So it would have been nice to get a full fill there and then quickly sell here. That would have been a really, really nice way to do this one. So it's that's kind of why I'm annoyed, because it could have been a pretty decent trade. I could have made well over $100 on this trade, and then somehow I only walked away 30, and it even says I lost 37. So it's kind of I'm looking at this one, I'm just thinking, where did everything go wrong on AIHS? But again, it was a weird day. CLRB, look at this one. It says I'm down 15 cents on it, which is true. But just check out how I traded this one. And this really sums up everything this morning. Wait, what ticker was it? CLRB. Okay, that's what I typed in. I was like, that's a weird sounding ticker. Check out this pre-market. So CLRB, 8 million float, US biotech with no catalyst. So I knew to be careful with this one. But we were approaching big support. I tried to buy the first support here, it didn't work. Tried to buy it here, it didn't work. Got out for a small loss, and then finally I had one good trade here. Was up like 3% on it, and then closed it, and I basically made back my losses. So I was down CLRB like, I don't know, like $60-$70 or something at one point. In this last trade, I basically made back my money. It was a disaster, total disaster. Yeah, so it just pre-market. It's kind of crazy that. Today, I really enjoy trading pre-market because it allows me to kind of get a feel for the overall market, but it is a little bit annoying when you start the day red pre-market. CBAT, this was a kind of a cool stock, 21 million. Let me quickly go to it here. CBAT, this was a nice one. 21 million float, so I knew it had a little bit more. It wasn't going to probably fall off a cliff with a 21 million float. It was a Chinese electrical company, electrical equipment and parts, and they had planned investments in lithium batteries. Okay, that's a really nice kind of riding the EV trend. I knew on the chart that this thing had wicked support right around $1. You can see that here. We've had multiple tests of $1, became support, became resistance, yada yada. You get the general theme of things. So what did I do? I waited pre-market waited at the market open for a dip here towards 101. I got a nice entry, was down a little bit, like 2% for a second, and then it spiked up here, and I sold at 112, which actually ended up being almost a perfect exit. Obviously, perfect exit here, but pulled back and ran again here, like 23%. But that's not my goal. You don't know if this is going to spike up or if it's going to go back to $1 and crash under $1. I don't really care what happens after that. I got my 10% move plus. That's more than I can ever ask for. I also had pretty decent position size. So boom, this was a really, really nice snack. I placed this limit order pre-market, so I didn't have to be watching it when the market opened because I knew that the chance of this bouncing was pretty high. And even if it broke $1 and let's say kind of started consolidating around 93 cents and I was down like 7% on it, I could have sold on the pop back to $1 if it did a retest and closed for a smaller loss. So that was like my risk reward. I felt like it was a pretty decent risk reward. And then the last one, a huge, oh man, I'm really tired today. My voice and everything I feel like it's failing. By the end of the week on Thursday, I'm usually already pretty tired. It's just a lot of charts and a lot of talking, especially on the stream. So huge. This one, kind of like we were talking about with SBPP, I want to really watch out with those right here, our big loser we started talking about. I want to be careful with these because you never know, out of the gates, are they just going to keep pulling off? And most likely the answer is yes. If this thing's pulling back, pre-market 47% plus, you pretty much know for certain that this thing is done. It's over. And that's why, pre-market, I was actually down with this one like $100. I did a miserable trading with this one pre-market. Again, try to buy the dip here, wanted the reversal. This was actually my only profitable trade, I think, on it. Again, tried it here. This was a loss. Tried it here. I think, okay, maybe this one was a profit. I don't know. Tried it again here. This was a mistake. So it was horrible how I was trading this one. But at the market open, we identified $5.5 to about $5.50 is huge support. It's been support in these areas multiple times. You guys can see all the kind of consolidation, retest, support, bounces, yada, yada in this area. We knew $5 was big support. So what happens, this thing goes down to breaks 550. I had limit orders here waiting for it. Bought 600 shares. This was one of my bigger position sizes. So this was like a, let's think about this for a second. This is like a $4,000 position size. One of my bigger position sizes, if you guys been watching this channel. So this was pretty aggressive, but I knew I had manageable support. Yeah, I could have took a loss on this one, but I would have closed my position probably if we started breaking like 517 or something like that. Maybe I would have averaged down one more time, but at that point, I really wanted to see a quick pop to the upside. I didn't really want to see this dip anymore. I knew this wasn't going to probably sell off more than like 6-7% though at the open. So I had a big red candle and I bought into that red candle looking for a reversal, a test of the 9-minute EMA. We popped back here. This was a pretty sweet move. I sold way too early at about 67 and yeah, way too early. This was like about a 13% move. So we, walked away with decent profits, mainly because I had big position size, but I wish I kind of let this one ride a little bit longer. But, this is one of my first trades with really big size. So sometimes if you're up 20 cents a share and I'm already red on the day overall because I did miserable trading, taking some profit sometimes just to kind of lock it in is a good feeling, because I don't want to be up $200-300 all of a sudden, be finally green on the day, and then actually close it red. That would have freaked me out. So yeah, a little bit of a hasty trade here, but locking in profits is never a bad idea. I did one more dip trade here with half the size and similar setup. Was looking for a double bottom, was looking for a reversal, had a hold through this bull flag here, and then we sold in the spike. This was a pretty sweet move. I again sold a little bit too early, probably left, I don't know, 5% or so on the table. Oh, way more than 5%, but whatever. For the fact that I started the market open like down, I don't know, it was like $100 or so on huge, and the fact that we closed almost $500 on huge like shows that I did pretty all right trading. Had one more little dip trade here, and then the rest of that was kind of history. It was losing volume, wasn't as interesting. I was thinking we could get maybe one more snag in here at like 420 or so, and it would have been a perfect trade, but I was looking for that one more sell-off, and we didn't really get it. It went down to like 1130. Yeah, I was looking for like 420s, and it went down to like 431. So I don't know, a little bit too conservative maybe on my end. I don't know. I'm done with trading for the day. I'm super happy to wrap it up here. The only thing I'm probably looking at maybe is like KNDI if it holds its highs. It has a bigger float, so I don't really see this one falling off a cliff. But again, like, I don't know. I would like to see this one hold its highs and then maybe move a little bit higher. So KNDI, we'll be watching this one pretty closely. TAOP was a pretty cool one. I know you guys were trading this one like wildfire. Congrats to everyone nailing TAOP today. I didn't trade this one because I felt like it was so sketchy. It had a reverse split today. It was up, had some kind of news, probably just to pump it. Wouldn't be surprised if an offering came out. TAOP has never held really any of these gap ups except maybe one of these. So I don't know. I didn't really feel confident about TAOP. And looking back, yeah, I was probably way too conservative on this one because I could have still traded it with small size, and the dips were really nice on TAOP. So good opportunities, but I don't know. I just did not want to give back like 10-20% in 1 minute just because I felt like I needed to trade something. I felt like I was already very grateful for the fact that I was up today after having such a miserable pre-market that I didn't want to give back all my profits for no reason. So I was pretty happy to wrap up trading where I did. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed that content. Let me know if you have any questions, leave them below. I will answer them myself. And don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the content. The stream was really good fun today. It was a little bit hectic because I was a little bit exhausted. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be a little bit more on point, but let's see what happens. It's really about the market and how I'm reading pre-market. But you guys had some great feedback in the chat room today, and it's just really good fun to always learn with you guys. Yeah, guys, if you're totally new, consider subscribing. I'd love to see you in an upcoming recap video and an upcoming stream and just in the chat room in general. Let's take it easy. Enjoy the afternoon. Have a nice dinner, and I will see you guys first thing tomorrow morning for the stream. Ciao, guys.